Hello everyone and welcome back to Cruel and Unusual Storytime. I am your host Simon Dexter, and today we are starting a new creepypasta suggested by Jamie Moody. Thank you, as always. And before I get into the actual meat of the episode, I'd just like to say I am going to be recording a couple episodes today. I want to at least get set up for through next week. So if you suggest any creepypastas for next week, I'm not going to get to it until the week after because I have not gotten all that many creepypasta suggestions, so I've actually had to start picking a few for myself. So next week I'm doing something I just picked at random, pretty much. But I got like a list of fanfiction stuff, so if you're gonna suggest fanfiction, you got an even longer wait, because I still gotta finish Pacifica's Wish, which I'm getting through, thankfully. And then I got like a My Little Pony one after this, and then I got another crossover one after that, and I'm gonna be busy. Anyway, though, friends, for this creepypasta that we're covering this week, right now, today, it's another one of those ones that's, classic, question mark. I think I listened to it a while ago. I don't recall liking it all too much, but then again, I don't like any Lost episodes. It's just a bias. It's who I am. I don't think they're scary. I never really have. Okay, that's not true. First time I stuttering, pardon me, read Squidward Suicide, I actually thought it was okay. And a couple other ones, but then I started noticing a pattern, and now I can't unsee the pattern wherever I go, so yeah. Maybe I'll be surprised. Maybe it'll be like Mickey's Best Friend from last time, or the story overall was okay. It just has a humongous big flaw. But we'll see. So, sit back, relax, and let's enjoy Suicidemouse.avi. We're just reading the little blurb that's actually before this, and it actually is a blurb. It's not like where it's kind of slightly part of the story like Mickey's Best Friend was, but it's just saying, yeah, it's a lost episode of creepypasta, which I already knew. It says someone made a video to accompany it, and if they did, that's really cool. That's one thing I do love about any lost episode of creepypastas, or any creepypasta in general, is when they make something interesting off to the side. When fans make like videos or games and stuff like that. Anyway, here is the pasta. So, do any of you remember those Mickey Mouse cartoons from the 1930s? Oh, I don't know. Let's see. Oh yeah, everyone remembers those. That kind of opening always gets to me, because it's like, hey, do you remember the good old days? It's like, everyone remembers the good old days. You're more annoying than those stupid like if you remember posts on Facebook. The ones that were just put on DVD a few years ago. And no, why would I remember that? I've never heard of a DVD. What is this witchcraft you're talking about? Well, here there's one that was unreleased to even the most avid classic Disney fans. Yeah, it's called Mickey's Best Friend. I read about it last week. You can go ahead and watch my video on that. According to sources, it's nothing special. It's just a continuous loop, like Flintstones, of Mickey walking past 6 buildings that goes on for 2 or 3 minutes before fading out. Sounds boring. But why? Unlike the cutesy tunes put in, though, the song on the cartoon was not a song at all, just a constant banging on a piano for a minute and a half before going to a white noise for the remainder of the film. That sounds really boring. Although I do kind of like that they went out of their way to mention it was nothing special. So I'm assuming there's something around the short that makes it interesting. We'll find out, though. It wasn't jolly old Mickey we've come to love, either. Mickey wasn't dancing, not even smiling, just walking as if you or I were walking, with a normal facial expression, but for some reason his head tilted side to side as he kept this dismal look. Well, I don't really walk with a dismal look. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just an optimist. Simon an optimist, yeah, right. Up until a year or two ago, everyone believed that after it cut to black, and that was it. When Leonard Maltin was reviewing the cartoon to be put into the complete series, he decided it was too junk to be on the DVD. It could have been put in, like, I don't know, special features. It need to be, like, in the actual collection, but I don't know. Well, some animators find old walk cycles fascinating. Where did I go? Oh god, I lost my spot. Oh no, this is bad. Okay, there we go. When he had a digitalized version up on his computer to look at the file, he noticed something. The cartoon was actually 9 minutes and 4 seconds long, which is impressive considering it was 3 minutes initially. So that means some shit's going on in the dark. That's kind of interesting. This is what my source emailed to me in full. He is a personal assistant of the higher executives at Disney and acquaintance of Mr. Malton himself. After cut to black, it stayed like that until the 6th minute before going back into Mickey walking. The sound was different this time. It was a murmur. Well, I'll get to it at the end. It wasn't a language, but more like a gurgled cry. As the noise got more indistinguishable and loud over the next minute, the picture began to get weird. The sidewalk started to go in directions that seemed impossible based on the physics of Mickey's walking, and the dismal face of the mouse was slowly curling into a smirk. Also, said he had like a normal expression on, but then you change it to dismal out of nowhere. I'm just gonna throw that in there. On the 7th minute, the murmur turned into a blood-curdling scream, the kind of scream painful to hear. Sorry about that. And the picture was getting more obscure. Colors were happening that shouldn't have been possible at the time. That's weird. I'll call it interesting, though, just because it kind of is. Mickey's face began to fall apart. His eyes rolled onto the bottom of his chin, like two marbles in a fishbowl, and his curled smile was pointing upward on the left side of his face. The buildings became rubble floating in midair, and the sidewalk was still impossibly navigating in warped directions, a few seeming inconceivable with what we as humans know about direction. Which doesn't make a lot of sense, because there are only, like, so many directions anyway, so... Frankly, if you think logically, there is not an inconceivable direction unless you're talking, like, fourth dimension shit. Which, if that is, I don't think we could perceive it in an old-timey cartoon anyway. Mr. Malton got disturbed and left the room, sending an employee to finish the video and take notes of everything happening up until the last second. And I'm just saying, All You Sinners Swing was pretty messed up. And if they can't handle this, how are they going to handle that? That one was actually an actual cartoon that actually happened. And if you haven't watched it yet, I suggest you do. I watched it again recently, and it's actually doesn't get really bad until like the last minute. Like the first part of it is actually kind of tame. Then it just shits on your face, essentially. Anyway. And after immediately store the disc of the cartoon into the vault. The distorted screaming lasted until 8 minutes and a few seconds in, and then it abruptly cuts to the Mickey Mouse face at the credits at the end of every video, with what sounded like a broken music box playing in the background. This happened for about 30 seconds, so whatever was in that remaining 30 seconds, I haven't been able to get a sliver of information about. From a security guard working under me who was making rounds outside of that room, I was told that after the last frame, the employee stumbled out of the room with pale skin, saying, "Real suffering is not known," 7 times before speedily taking the guard's pistol and offing himself on the spot. Gotta roll my eyes there, because that's just much. This actually isn't that bad, though. I'm just saying that right there was kind of... The thing I could get out of Leonard Maltin was that the last frame was a piece of Russian text that roughly said, "The sights of hell bring its viewers back in." Oh no, not Russian. If I saw Russian, I'd kill myself too. I'm kidding. Please don't take me seriously. I actually find Russian culture rather interesting, but that's topic for other videos, not for this. As far as I know, no one else has seen it, but there have been dozens of attempts at getting the file on rapid share by employees inside the studios. All of them have been properly terminated from their jobs. Well, yeah, if they don't want you to touch shit, leave it alone. It's just a 9-minute video anyway. I think the world will live. Whether it got online or not is up for debate, but if rumors serve me right, it's online somewhere under Suicidemouse.avi. If you ever find a copy of the film, I want you to never view it, and to contact me by phone immediately regardless of the time. When a Disney death is covered up as well as this... Oh, good. Disney death cover-up. My favorite thing. Which I haven't really got to cover much because this is only the second Disney story I've covered on my channel. We'll get to that in a second. This has to be something huge. Get back to me, TR. But to find a copy of this is out there, I know it. And that, everyone, is Suicidemouse.avi. Now, I'm kind of on the fence about this one, so let's get into it. What's wrong with this, for starters? Well, firstly, it does one of my least favorite things ever, and that's the whole Disney is big evil corporation that covers up everything and you shouldn't trust them, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, with this death in particular, that would make no sense anyway, because it was a suicide. And even if it was the evil cartoon made him do it, it's a suicide. The company is not liable for someone killing themselves. Maybe it being on their presses might give them some problems, but they're rich enough they can just take it out of court without issue. That's my big thing with Disney cover-ups anyway, because just because they settle something out of court doesn't mean it was covered up. It just means that they're not going to go to court about it, for one, because they're rich enough that they can pull that off. Especially seeing as some of their biggest releases this year, including Zootopia and Jungle Book, have lined their pockets enough that they don't need to do anything ever again, even though they didn't anyway. So that's saying something for you. But needless to say, just because they are rich does not mean they are all powerful. That is just illogical. So I've just never been a fan of the whole Disney cover-ups bullshit. That's why I haven't got to Abandoned by Disney or Room Zero just yet, because I'm actually not a big fan of those stories, but people really like them. But they just cover one of my least favorite topics, and it's just like, I don't believe in that shit. I just don't. I'll get to them eventually, because I'm actually saving them for special. Actually, I don't mind Abandoned by Disney too much. It's Room Zero that bugs the fuck out of me. But because I've actually read those two. Another thing that they do wrong is just, I don't understand why he killed himself. I really don't. Although it sounds like a very trippy episode, and it would probably creep me out. Gives me no reason to kill myself. And the Russian text gives me no reason to why he would kill himself. I have to assume that there was something unexplained that it didn't show, because Russian text... Why would there even be Russian text? Also, it doesn't explain where it came from, why it exists. Of course, no one knows, and I kind of like that. I will say that I kind of like that it doesn't really explain why they did it, much like Mickey's Best Friend, which that one I liked. It did explain. It's a weird little spiel. I know I didn't use that word properly, but you get my point. And, well, what was right about this? Again, it kind of just touches on the idea that some older cartoons are creepy and that they could have interesting effects on the mind, I guess. I don't mind that all too much. But I just feel its execution had points where it was sloppy, but also had points where it was really good. Like, immediately where it explains that the clip itself was nothing special for at least the first 3 minutes that you saw. And then... yeah, just after that, I don't know. I don't even know why they wouldn't just release a 3-minute clip anyway, because it's just a 3-minute clip. They could have even just used it in like a background for an interview, just to show an old walk cycle. Because, I don't know, it's one of those stories where it makes something out of nothing really fast for no reason. And I don't know. That's just me. Overall, I give it like a solid C. I'd give it an A for effort, but I don't know. It just did a lot of things that bugged me too much to give it too much credit. But that was Suicidemouse.avi. I hope you enjoyed. I will catch you all Sunday, actually, because I'll be continuing Pacifica's Wish. So, I will catch you all then. You all have a wonderful day.